Unity of Houston is an inclusive church where we seek to understand and live the teachings of Jesus and other spiritual masters. At Unity, we welcome all people from all spiritual paths and every walk of life. We celebrate the diversity of our city and of our world, and we teach love, tolerance, and oneness, seeking to live in harmony with open minds and open hearts.
Wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are always welcome at Unity. Join us and discover that the life of your dreams is already within you. It's been 6 months now that I've been going to the gym and I have made no progress. I'm going to go there in person tomorrow and see what's going on. We're in the midst of our Touchstone 2023, the Revelation of Wholeness series. The first 2 weeks we talked about body. Today we're moving into mind. I thought I'd throw that one in there since I didn't get to use it last week. Think about that though. What would it be, where would the problem be in that scenario? It's in the mind, right? It's a misperception of reality. If I join the gym, Brett, that'll take care of it. No. More is required. And it is in the mind where we have the perception of what is needed, and it is in the mind where we make the decision to move forward, to make the changes necessary. I've chosen for my title today, The Divine Mind, which I wasn't sure where I pulled that from, out of the blue, I guess. But then as I was starting to do some research, I was really thinking of, we often have in metaphysics, particularly in Unity, we talk about the Christ mind. And it is in Paul, and I think it was in Thessalonians, said, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. The mind that knows its connection with the infinite good. The mind that knows that there is no lack, that there is nothing separating me from freedom and fulfillment. And so I went to Charles Fillmore to hear what he had to say about that, but I found out in the Revealing Word, he has this beautiful entry on divine mind, and this is what he writes. Divine mind, God mind, ever-present, all-knowing mind, the absolute, the unlimited, omnipresent, all-wise, all-loving, all-powerful spirit. There is only one mind, and that mind cannot be separated or divided because, like the principle of mathematics, it is indivisible. All that we can say of the one mind is that it is absolute and that all its manifestations are in essence like itself. I'm going to come back to that. Mind is not a thing, mind is. It is that which, through orderly processes, produces things. Divine mind first conceives the idea, then images its fulfillment. Humanity, I should say, acting in cooperation with divine mind, places itself under the same creative law, and thus brings those ideas into manifestation. Let me break that down for you. This is where it's all at. This is what's happening. Reality comes into being through consciousness, through divine mind. We often say in unity is that it is the mind of God expressing through my mind. This connection piece, this unity piece. And it is not only a mind that knows, it is a mind that creates. And if you don't think it's true, go back to our guy in the gym. He had the wrong idea and the wrong thoughts, so he wasn't getting the right results. It wasn't in the body that he needed to change, although it was, but it had to come in the mind first. We are constantly co-creating our reality with the mind of God. That as individually expressed as our mind. And when we can get our conscious mind connected to that infinite source of possibility and transformation, we are changed. And we begin to choose differently, to speak differently, to act differently, and our lives transform. So even though we're talking about 2 weeks on body, 2 weeks on mind, and 2 weeks on spirit, this is really where it's at. Right here. It's in our mind. And I say right here, but the brain is not the mind. The brain is the instrument of mind. Consciousness is the true ground of being. It is the true reality. And that we have incarnated, we have come into this experience of humanity so that we may discover the deeper truth that is beyond time, space, and form. As Michael Beckwith says, we are here to bring the infinite into the finite, to bring the eternal into space and time. That's why we're here. And some of us just think we're here to lose 5 pounds and the gym isn't working. No, you are here for a high and holy purpose. And the curriculum and the task set before you is yours and yours alone. That you are here to discover your authentic being and then to deliver your authentic nature in service to the whole. That's what it's about. But we got to get free. And so where is it that we're bound? In the mind. It is in the mind through the conditioning that we received from our parents, from our family of origin, from the culture we grew up in, from the conditions of life. We think that's who we are. And I'm here to tell you that ain't who you are. You are the infinite good expressed as a human being. You are infinite unconditional love expressed as a human being. You are the peace of God that passes all understanding expressed as a human being. And when we, you, me, when we can align our thought with divine mind, we become that. We live that. And we can look to exemplars. We can see so many people that are doing that all over the world, and they're changing things for good. We can look to Jesus of Nazareth. You know, in this church, we don't hold him as this thing that we could never, ever touch, that he is divine and we're lowly worms. No, we actually teach Jesus is our big brother, the way shower, the one that said, greater things shall they do who come after me. We've got to get in that same mindset that we are more than we were told. We were all lied to. But there is a deeper truth of your being. You are divine. You are imbued and endowed with beautiful gifts. And when we can open to that reality and live into it, we are healed and we heal the world. That's what it's about. So why ain't that happening? Maybe it is, but maybe some of us have joined the gym and we think our work is done. We come to unity. Isn't that what I'm supposed to do? We'll see. Let's see how we get there. What we're seeking to do is align our thoughts with divine thoughts. And what stands in the way is the complexity of the human experience and the complexity of human consciousness. There is this thing called the unconscious mind. Have you heard of it? Do you know you have one? That there is a part of you that is mind and it is unconscious. This is where we get all of that wrong information. Whatever the system of your family's false beliefs gets hardwired, we shouldn't say hardwired, pre-wired into us. We're conditioned to see life as limited, as scarce, as divided, as separate. And so we grow up in a culture that was also pre-wired to see things as less than optimal. And those things are embedded in us. So this work in mind is a process, and it requires us to go to the gym. It requires us not only to join, but to begin to take actions, begin to do something different so we can undo the conditioning that is in the unconscious mind. Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychologist, really the founder of this depth psychology movement, he said that the conscious mind is like a cork floating in an ocean, and the unconscious mind is the ocean. It's vast. But he also said this: the conscious mind is equally powerful to the unconscious. The conscious thought is more powerful because it's directed. And I would say, I don't know if Carl would agree with me or not, that because we're connecting, when we connect conscious thought to spiritual truth, it becomes far more powerful than the unconscious mind. There are times, and I had someone in my office this week who has been in this movement for a long time and has done deep work of healing and transformation. And we talked, and she shared with me that she's in a tough situation. And it's the same patterns that she's been working on healing for decades. Was feeling some discouragement about that. It's not the first time that I've heard that. It's not the first time I myself have experienced that. And I just want to share with you the way that I come to understand it is this. These core wounds that we receive, usually at the words and the hands of our parents, which they got from theirs, we may not leave our bodies having completely healed everything about it, and that's okay. But here's what I want to tell you. If you're willing to do the work, to uncover, discover, and discard that which is not true of you, and you can do that work in so many ways. I'm going to share a couple of them with you right here. What will happen is, even when it's back up again, God, I thought I had this finished. I thought I didn't do that anymore, and here it is. If we're willing to stay resilient, thank you, Claudia. If we're able to stay with our feet on the ground and get out of the chair and go to the gym, go to that therapy session, go to that recovery meeting, go to that practitioner or that minister, talk this thing through, do that prayer and meditation, do that journaling. What we'll see is that the situation will one more time reveal healing. And on the other side of this difficulty is more freedom. But it's when we give up, when we don't keep doing the work, that we begin to lose hope and faith that good may come here. So we need a tool. We need some way that we can begin to unwind the unconscious mind so that we can reveal the divine mind within us. We have a really great one. It's called language. It's called word. Often in spiritual traditions, the word has almost a magical power about it. As a matter of fact, in some traditions, the Wiccan traditions and others, words have magical power. But I don't think it's magic. What I think it is, that choosing words directs our mind in a particular way. It helps us to reframe and perceive reality. Have you guys seen that movie, Arrival? Anybody else a sci-fi fan in here? Anybody ever seen it with Amy Adams? Nominated for a bunch of awards, really a good movie. I'm going to give you a little spoiler, so do this if you don't want to hear it. In the movie, Earth is visited by aliens, as happens in a lot of these movies. And these aliens look nothing like us, and there's they can't communicate with us. They use a whole different way of using language. But Amy Adams plays a linguist. And her job is to perceive and to begin to communicate, to learn their language. And an interesting thing happens. I'm not going to give you the whole spoiler. As she learns the alien language, she is able to perceive reality differently, beyond our current understanding of physics even. It's a really good movie, I'm telling you. It's so good. And I don't buy movies, but I did buy this one because I wanted to watch it again, and there's something spiritual here. There's a metaphor here that is powerful for us. When we learn a new language, we learn a new reality. When we begin to see and perceive life from a different place, and words can help us with that. That's why I think Jesus said in Matthew 12:37, he said, by your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. It's a shift in reality and perspective. That if we can find the right words, and it's not like finding perfect words, it's not even about the words, but the words are the key that'll unlock the consciousness. We use affirmations and denial. A couple of weeks ago, I read a beautiful quote from Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founder. I'd like to go back to that now and show you how she uses language in this powerful, conscious way. She was talking about the way she used spiritual power to heal her own body. I went to the life centers of my body and I spoke words of truth to them, words of strength and power. I asked their forgiveness for the foolish, ignorant course I had pursued when I had condemned them and called them weak, inefficient, and diseased. I did not become discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but kept right on, both silently and aloud, declaring words of truth until the organs responded. And neither did I forget to tell them that they were free, unlimited spirit. I told them they were no longer in bondage to the carnal mind. They were not corruptible flesh, but centers of life and energy omnipresent. That last bit, she's reframing her perspective of her own body, recognizing that her thoughts about it had been false, incorrect, and damaging to her experience. And so she began to ask forgiveness of the energy centers of her body and speak to them differently. And she said, I was not discouraged. I just kept right on, aloud and inwardly. And I told them they were not corruptible flesh, subject to carnal mind. Kind of interesting words. But you go what she's saying, that's a denial. That is a spiritual denial, a tool we use in language. I am not this thing. I'm not stupid, like my mom said. My mom didn't say that about me ever. But whatever that languaging we got, like that teacher, I'm not whatever that is. It's to be able to deny the truth of something that you were taught that is false. And she did that. And then she affirmed, you, this body, you are free, unlimited spirit. That's what you are. This is the power of the word. Wherever you're feeling blocked, limited, stymied, stopped, begin to tell the truth. Say what's a lie. That is not true of me and has never been true of me. I am not that. I am free, unlimited spirit. Say that with me. I am free, unlimited spirit. And then this word begins to free us up, begins to move us. This is how we reveal wholeness in mind. Finding the places where we are believing the lie. Say it ain't so. It ain't so. Whew, I love it. We're getting, now church is moving now. And it's almost time to shut it down. Oh, shoot. But then tell the truth. I am free, unlimited spirit. I am capable. I am strong. I am whole. And I'm telling you, I love Myrtle too. She's so real. She says, I was not discouraged at their being slow to wake up. Hold on. Hold on. Don't give up. Don't become discouraged. So I want to end here with just a real quick understanding of the mind. Man, we just talk about it so much. We talk about the individual mind, the egoic mind, the carnal mind, the higher mind, the lower mind. We have all this language to talk about, just different ways of kind of understanding our consciousness and our unconscious mind. And sometimes all we need is a little shock to the system to wake us up. There's a story of comes from the Zen Buddhist tradition. I love this story. I've told it before. Briefly, I'll tell it again. A great warrior, a samurai, who was just known in the land for his strength and his power and his ability to conquer any foe. In one region where he had been, he was told of a great wise man, a monk, who knew the inner secrets and the workings of the world. And so he sought out this old monk. And when he found him, he came to him and he said, hey, I was told you know the great mysteries. I want you to teach me now of heaven and hell. And the old monk whipped around and looked at him and said, you brute, you ignorant, violent man, you think you could ever learn anything of these spiritual truths? And the samurai was enraged. And he pulled his sword out and he was ready to strike the old monk dead. And in that moment, the monk said to him, that is hell. And before he brought the sword down, he felt the power of what had just happened. That his perception was altered in a shock. And that this beautiful soul before him had been willing to sacrifice his life to teach him this truth. And he fell to his knees, he dropped to his sword, and he wept. And the monk said, this is heaven. Your perceptions must undergo a shocking transformation like that, to be shocked from your lie into truth. My last tip for you today. This comes from the recovery movement, from the 12-step tradition, and I'm going to tell you about the 10th step, which says this. We continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, we promptly admitted it. There are two words here I think you probably didn't hear. I'm going to say them again. When and promptly. It doesn't say if we're wrong, we'll get to admitting at some point. It says when we are wrong, we promptly admit it. The ego will defend and deflect. It will not take blame. It will always seek to press blame out here like that brute samurai, armored by my rightness, armored by my arrogance. But if we're willing to look at ourselves with curiosity and tenderness and compassion, and when we're wrong, promptly admit it, here's what happens. This is the opening for faith. And it is faith that activates the law. It is faith that activates your beliefs into new transformational experiences. The intelligence, the rational mind cannot see around corners. The divine mind already knows your home. It already knows that you're already whole. It already knows that you are perfect and complete just as you are. But we've got to get shocked out of those old perspectives. I want to read you a little lyric by Nicole Nordeman. It is love that is asking for your attention. That's not the lyric, that's just me talking. Love is the reconciling force of the universe. Love is the name of God. Love is that which binds us to the truth of being and wholeness. And the separate mind, the false beliefs, the ego, the victim consciousness has kept us apart from ourselves. But love is seeking you and calling you home. It will find you at the bottom of a bottle. It will find you at the needle's end. It will find when you beg and steal and borrow. It will follow you into a stranger's bed. It will find you when they serve you with the papers. It will find you when the locks have changed again. It will find you when you've called in all your favors. It will meet you at the bridge's highest ledge. Beloved, don't look down. It's a long way. The sun will come around to a new day. So hold on. Love will find you. Hold on. Love's right behind you. Turn around. Just turn around, and love will find you. Would you pray with me now? So we drop our weapons, we drop our shields, we surrender to this deeper truth of who and what we are, of what life is, that the very nature of life is love. We can see it in the sun shining on the tree. We can see it in the rain nurturing the ground. It's just built in. This is love happening. That life sustains itself, gives what is needed because it is one thing. I call it God because it's the biggest word I know, but it is all that is in potentiality and in form. We are all part of its life, part of its wholeness, part of its completeness. And so what we're surrendering is our false idea. What we're surrendering is our misperception of reality and of ourselves. So we drop the victim story. We drop the blame. We drop the accusatory story. And we come back to the truth of who we are. Whole, complete. Love is here. We have come home. And so it is. Amen. And I know we're running late today, but there's something I wanted to share with you. Like many, I've been heartbroken over what we're seeing in the Middle East, and I haven't known the language to approach it. And I want to share with you. This comes from did I lose it? No, I got it here. From Rabbi Sharon Brous. She says this, I am asking us to dare to hold the humanity, the heartache, and the need for the security of the Jewish people, while also holding the humanity, the dignity, and the need for justice for the Palestinian people. For too long, these have been set up as incompatible, but this is a false binary. The only liberation will be a shared liberation. The only justice is justice for all. And lastly, let us please be tender with ourselves and each other. Take a break from social media when it becomes too much. Instead, reach out to one another. Call your family and friends in Israel and let them know you stand with them in sorrow and solidarity. Call a Palestinian friend and share your hope for a better future. We can't take each other's pain away, but we can make sure none of us navigates the pain alone. Let us hold each other now with love and grace. I love you. God bless you. Thank you for watching this message today. I'd like to invite you to join us in person here on campus at Unity of Houston for Sunday morning or Wednesday evening services. If you can't be with us here on our campus, you can still join us live on Facebook or on our website, unityhouston.org, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Central.